Oh, what an irony. I have multiple degrees related to psychology. Can't stop me from falling to deep depression. Now you know why this channel's upload schedule has been wacky for years. Honestly, it's a hard pill to swallow. It's like, okay, if I can't handle this, what does that say about me? So, this video is not exactly made for you in mind, it's for me. You saw the title. In this video, I'm going to talk about my unfiltered thoughts on Frieren in the eyes of psychology, in hopes that, for you might see why Frieren isn't just poetic and artsy, and you can also get some surprisingly practical stuff from the Frieren series, and for me, well, just a step bro, to remind me of things that I love, why I love it, and because honestly, I just don't want to disappear quietly. Oh, my fluffy cute pillowy granny elf, I ask you for your wisdom. Honestly, it's hilarious how psychologically accurate things portrayed in Frieren. For example, Frieren is a really great portrayal of how someone that has every reason to collapse can actually re-engage with life better than ever. Because if you think about it, Frieren Beyond Journey's End is actually a story about grief. Throughout the series, it continuously talks about how Frieren faced losses, and Frieren isn't always good at it. For example, in episode 10, we witnessed Frieren's journey after Flamma's passing. At first, it looks really pretty with adventures, Frieren sleeping on top of this dumb big dog, Frieren still cute as ever. But then, in latter episode, we also found out that Frieren was actually in a bad slump. For hundreds of years even, Frieren was, in her own word, live an apathetic life. Honestly, I don't really remember the exact wording that Frieren used, but it's pretty close. She had her purpose, defeating the Demon King, but she was stuck. So she did nothing meaningful for hundreds of years, just dilly-dallying. And it's such an irony, honestly. This is Frieren, bro. The apprentice of the greatest human mage, an elf, a creature that was revered, even deified by some. The Frieren, the person that was supposed to beat the Demon King. If she can stagnate like this, maybe immunity was never real. Now, let's talk about depression real quick. We know the symptoms of depression. Professionals can diagnose it, but in all honesty, we know much less about depression than we would like. MDD, major depressive disorder, is currently just defined by a collection of symptoms, not by urine test or other fancy things. You feel crappy, loss of interest, there's guilt, there's anxiety, sudden change in body weight. Let's not get into too much technical details for now, but in a nutshell, depression is a loss in engagement. But also one unique trait of depression, it happens on top of consciousness. It's not like you can just snap out of depression. You can't just say, hey, just think of happy stuff, and then boom, bye, depression. In most cases, attempt to think your way out of depression, it gets suppressed by the depressive state itself. That means when it goes unnoticed, it can quickly spiral out of control. Just like that lonely little elf that didn't engage with anything meaningful for hundreds of years. But if you watch Frieren, we know that Frieren eventually left her nasty couch potato life behind. If you compare Frieren in the slump era with Frieren in Frieren Veren Stark Zion era, it's like night and day. She's living life. Even after she lost Himmel and Haita, she went on another journey, and from the looks of it, she totally enjoyed it. She even went to relive her moments with Himmel, even her moments with Flamme. In other words, she's actually engaging again with life better than ever, despite having dozens of reasons not to. But that's not because the pain just disappeared. Suddenly Frieren forgot about all losses, just like that. But all of this is possible because of a single step. It's when she stopped isolating from life by choosing contact. But let's not sugarcoat it, because when Frieren re-engaged with life again, for once after a while, was it pretty? It was more comedic than anything. It needs to be said that Frieren in that era was living on a different universe already, honestly, and not in a good way. She was harsh, unfriendly. Nobody knows how long since Frieren used combat magic last time, so maybe she was totally rusty. She's still cute though. There's even a recollection in the manga that Frieren had never said sorry once. After like years of Frieren, Himmel, Haita, and Aizen traveling together, Frieren was, despite what Frieren might want to admit honestly, was fumbling around clumsily. She's definitely the most experienced person on the team, but with so many years living like a hermit, it was a tough period. Especially for Haita and Aizen because Himmel was simping already. So what's the point of this? The point is, it wasn't pretty at all. And in all honesty, I always think Frieren was kind of a dolt to be just like, okay, when Himmel asked her to join his journey. But that single step, with Frieren said, okay, it's the very beginning of Friren's return to engaging with the world around her. She was a mess, of course. Saying yes didn't solve her life. Far from it, logically speaking. Frieren had so many challenges, bigger challenges after that. But it mattered a lot for her in the future. She didn't return to the world because she was ready. She returned because she said yes before she did. Continuing from that, of course, saying yes didn't solve her issues. Especially for an elf like Frieren, like, what? She's gonna still be alive for no one knows how long, which means she'll definitely face losses again. And we certainly hope Frieren will be strong enough to face it. So something has to hold that engagement in place. So let's talk about emotional anchoring. Throughout my years of learning about human minds, it's pretty apparent that there's definitely something around human minds and externalization. For example, back in the day, keeping a diary sounds really lame, but now, you better get used to it. If you know anything about psychology, externalizing your mind to anything, really, journal, diary, a silent friend, that's such a great habit to keep. You can't say it's lame anymore about it because it's just a proven great practice, and if you're not doing it, you're missing out, and if you're already doing it, do it more. But what people don't realize, journaling is just one form of externalization. It's not the only one, and not the most powerful one. Let's take a look at the characters in Frieren. Frieren and other characters like Veren, Stark, even Zayn, they have a deep connection to their motivation. They keep it close, so to speak. But instead of just verbalizing it, it's more like they materialized it. Here's what I mean. Veren doesn't want to part with her staff, which is a gift from Haita. She was pissed when Frieren told her to change her staff. Another example, Zayn, he has his little pendant with him all the time. Inside it is a photo of him with his childhood friend. And then Frieren also keeps the ring Himmel gave her years ago. You see, they have something to anchor their motivation in real life. I think it's an underappreciated tool in storytelling that makes the characters' motivations feel real and tangible. But also, it's such a great move on mental health in general, especially when we are talking about emotions and motivation. And we modern people, we do it all the time. You probably keep a photo of your loved ones in your working table, an engagement ring to remind you of your loved one. Culturally, we have done similar things for centuries, and psychology, honestly, have been abusing it through countless ways. Time capsule, emailing your future self, therapy rituals. But from all that, the point is just one thing. It's what I called anchoring. Emotions, motivations, your quote-unquote engagement to life, they come and go. Today you might feel great, but what about tomorrow? What about next week? But what if we put all that emotion, all that meaning to something tangible? A photo, a ring, a staff, and we keep it close. Use it every day. Put it inside our wallet. When internal motivation disappears, when your day suddenly turned awry, something external can carry it for you. Just need to grab it and remind you of it. And the opposite of that is keeping it all inside. Inside that funny head of yours. With your introspection, I know that I do too much of it lately. Combine it with depressive state and it's like your brain becomes the next anime fake nihilist or something. What I mean by fake nihilism here is, think about a character that claims the world is meaningless, but the story never shows what they were attached to in the first place. Isn't that funny? There's no proof of it or it just doesn't connect well, but because your brain isn't in the right place, it gets convinced. Repeat that and you get your nasty downward spiral thinking. which I can attest. All the negative thoughts just come up, and they don't necessarily come from objective reality either. It's a depressive reinterpretation, if you will. It's like your brain watched too much House of Cards and keep ruminating over it, and it just colored the whole world grim. It really sounds like hallucination, and damn, House of Cards? What year is it today? The point is, putting all that thinking outward should make more space in your head, even at least temporarily. Don't need to keep spinning it inside your head and risk it to be contaminated by something that's not even real. Now maybe you can see why I brought Frieren into this conversation. Because for me, Frieren doesn't feel philosophical at all. It feels practical. It feels honest. When it's pretty for a reason. Actually, what I said in this video, it reminds me of something. Months ago, I stumbled on a YouTube video of Dr. Mike. You might know him, it's pretty huge on YouTube. And in his words, you do as doctors say, not as doctors do. It's a playful way to say expertise doesn't make you immune to mistake. Well, apparently that line stuck with me more than I expected, and not in a funny way. And then guess what? 2 weeks ago, I read a book titled The Upward Spiral. So back then, I had some ideas that something was wrong with me, but I wasn't really clear, nor I want to admit that I have problems. And inside that book, there it was, the diagnostic criteria from the SM-5 of major depressive disorder. I felt attacked reading that, really. But honestly, there's also a big relief dwelt in me. I didn't want to admit it entirely, but I thought to myself, hey, maybe this is it, you know? So I went to be clinically assessed, and you know what they told me? The fact that I was knowledgeable enough about mental health, plus the fact that I am willing to talk about it with them, that should answer my question already. But my traditional Asian blood is working against me entirely. I felt idiotic. Even now, while recording this, the fact that I learned psychology and behavioral science formally in university, it doesn't help. It even makes it worse for me. I blame myself harder. It delayed my initiative for seeking help tremendously. Like my identity is under attack. I know it isn't. I know in the bigger picture, it doesn't matter. I know it's stupid to think like that, but I just can't help it. I don't want it to think like that. And this is why this video exists. Because I don't want to be like this. This is not me romanticizing depression or me romanticizing Frieren. This is just me saying it to myself. Just like Frieren said yes, I want to make my own step to engage. Once again, even when I know it's going to be messy, it's not going to be pretty, when I know clearly that I am not okay. I've been through worse, dude. I've survived things that should have broken me before. I'm not going to stop here. I'm not going anywhere.